So a few weeks ago, I was finishing my surf session on my home break and walking up to the parking lot, and the usual suspects were hanging around, and they were anxious to talk to me about a shark attack that had happened a few weeks prior on a woman swimming in San Onofre. They know I do shark research, so they wanted to hear my opinion. We're talking about it, and a guy I don't really know blurts out, "I heard she's on her period." Simultaneously, me and most of my friends gave the eye roll and groans, and that actually gave me hope because knowing that other guys out there understand that women don't attract sharks is very important. It's not only incorrect, but it's replacing facts with fear, and I want to replace fear with facts. There's all kinds of myths and things about sharks that people continuously use to try to fearmonger, and it's not protecting them at all. It is not conservation minded, and we need to start conserving sharks since there's about 80% less of them than there were on the planet when Jaws came out. So I'll just set this record straight for you. So women do not attract sharks. I can tell you this with the highest confidence. Whether a woman's monthly bill brings you a very light or very heavy flow, we just don't attract sharks certain times of the month. It's not true. There is nothing that supports it. So the other day, Laird Hamilton mistakenly made this claim that a woman's at a higher risk for a shark attack during that time of the month. So let me just put this in perspective. So Laird is a world-class waterman. This is not a diss on him. This is not trying to insult his intelligence. This is not trying to belittle him. He's a world-class athlete that very few people can compare to. However, he's not a marine scientist, nor is he an expert on women's bodies. Again, that is not a slight on him. I admire him very much. He is a very good waterman. However, I'm sure with that, someone will still likely try to mansplain to me about what a great waterman he is, and I should listen to him. Okay, I'm a fan of Laird's, but on this issue, he's not correct. He is misinformed. So now we have a chance to inform him and everyone else to keep the record straight. So there was one article that was examining the statement and actually asked an expert. And that expert they asked, I'll have that article in the links below so that you can check it out for yourself. But they quoted Dr. Chris Lowe, who is from Cal State Long Beach, and he's a PhD shark scientist. And he said that the flow is so negligible and so minimal, it is a non-issue. Also, they quoted Ralph Collier, and Ralph has done experimentation on attracting sharks, and sharks are not attracted to menstrual flow. Now, I know both of these guys. I've met Dr. Chris Lowe, and we've talked sharks. He's a very smart guy. I consider Ralph Collier a friend of mine. He and I were on the same boat for 5 days, shark diving in Mexico, and I'm going to do that again with him later this year. He's been in shark research for 50, that's 50 years. So these men both know what they're talking about. So it's not just me as a woman trying to say, stop picking on us. There are others that are very well respected, have been on Shark Week many times. This is their job. They agree. Okay, so now how do I know? How do I know? Well, I wish some news would have interviewed a woman, and that's why I'm writing this today. Probably will have some detractors that want to know my qualifications, and tell me. And so, yes, I know that sharks can detect trace amounts of blood in the water. And I have heard people say that certain land animals are attracted to women because of the pheromones that they emit during that time of the month. I haven't done the research on that. That is nothing to do with this whatsoever. I've done the research on sharks, and they are not attracted to women, in particular during that time. So you probably want to see fancy degrees and experience, so I'll give it to you. I am a middle-aged woman that has spent decades in the ocean. Swimming, scuba, surfing, jet ski, sailing, you name it. For nearly half of my life, I've been involved in marine research. I have a degree in marine science and chemistry, a double major. My graduate degree is biomedical science. I worked with Clearwater Aquarium for many years, and during that time, I was in the shark tank cleaning the inside of the glass. The sharks were over at the other end of the tank. The sea turtle was over there trying to nip at me. I was a field biologist for them on their marine animal stranding team. So guess what? Other marine mammals, sharks aren't marine mammals, but marine mammals, they don't treat you any differently during that time either. I have dozens of photos to prove that here I am with marine mammals and they're not trying to do anything to me. But that's a whole other topic. I've been next to hammerheads in the Gulf of Mexico, doing fish counts on artificial reefs. Spent years surfing every single morning at dawn in the Pacific Ocean. Every single morning. 4 years. So guess what? For those of you keeping track, that means light days, heavy days. Didn't stop me. So I've also been scuba diving with Tiger and Nurse and white tips in Fiji, cage diving with the massive great whites in Mexico, and I mean I could go on. This is just a sampling of how much sea time I have. Oh yeah, and I work as a shark researcher. So it's not just me though. There's a whole multitude of women I know in marine research. Women who are on the water daily, in and on the water daily for years. Again, imagine how much easier research would be on sharks if they were attracted to women when the monthly bill is due. My gosh, especially women researchers. It would be so easy to find them and study their behavior, but guess what? It's not. There's hundreds of women that surf every morning here in Southern California, along the coast, whether or not they have to wear feminine hygiene products. So I just want to set that straight. But I'm sure somebody's going to say that their friend's sister or some physician or another person of authority will dispute what I'm trying to say. You know, they know someone that got bit while they were on their period. Okay, so maybe that happened to somebody, but it wasn't because of that. Okay? There is absolutely no evidence. So again, just remember, a PhD shark researcher and another researcher who's been doing it for 50 years agrees with me. So if you must try to mansplain, go ahead. But I'm going to leave you with a couple of facts. Women don't attract sharks. Sharks need our protection. We need to replace fear with facts in order to facilitate their conversation, or else we will deal with the very, very scary situation of an ocean without sharks, which is far scarier than one with. Thank you for listening.